If you happen to be traveling to Ukraine anytime soon and you're worried about what would happen if there was a nuclear explosion, don't worry about it because a website called visitukraine.today has a list of things they suggest for you to buy in case of a nuclear explosion. So, what is it they think you should have with you in case you're going to visit Ukraine right now? And there's many reasons why you might visit Ukraine, I'm sure, but personally, I probably won't be there anytime soon. However, this can apply anywhere in case you're worried about these types of things happening. If you're worried about a nuclear explosion, then hit the subscribe button below because I think a lot of people are right now, even if it's a little bit unreasonable, right? So, first and foremost, here's what they suggest, all right? They want you to have either FFP2 or FFP3 respirators, which for a lot of us would actually be N99 or N100 respirators. So N95s aren't going to cut it for what they're concerned about when it comes to a nuclear explosion. So N99 or N100, you're good to go. Now, of course, things like gas masks might actually take you to that next level, which is what I would prefer to have over just like a mask-style respirator. But at least they're giving you some budget-friendly options. And if you're worried about having things like CBRN protection, I will have links below for Mira Safety because they do have some really good CBRN protection, and I have a discount code, which is awesome. So, that being said, what else do they suggest? Well, strong polyethylene bags. They want you to have the ability to remove your clothing in case you have radiation exposure or exposure to fallout, and then put it into a strong, very thick-walled plastic bag, so that way you can deal with that later. But you need to remove that clothing as soon as possible once you find shelter, so I'm assuming that's why they want you to have the bags. Not to mention the bags can also be used as makeshift ways to seal up rooms or whatever else you might need. The same reason they're telling you that you need to have film or polyethylene raincoats. They want to make sure you have a way of guarding yourself from fallout or any radioactive material or contaminants, and then removing it very easily, which those types of raincoats are good at keeping those things off of your body, off of your clothes, and off of your skin, and then they're easy to remove and get rid of, and they're also easier to decontaminate than something like cloth or polyester or wool or anything like that. So, tape. They want you to have tape, preferably reinforced tape. Now, that is for sealing up your clothing, so if you have these raincoats, or maybe you're even just wearing the bags at this point, you can seal it up better to make sure that your body has less exposure to this contamination and this radioactive fallout. But you can also use the tape to seal up the rooms for whatever shelter you take cover in. So that way you can take the plastic, put it over the doors and the windows, and then use the tape to fully seal it up to try to keep as much of those contaminants out, right? So, they also think you should have household rubber gloves, which makes sense for the same exact reasons of everything else we just talked about. And of course, you can wear the heavy polyethylene raincoat with your rubber gloves and then tape around the wrist of the gloves to make sure that there is no exposure and that you're fully sealed up. So there's a lot of redundancy here, but you can understand why they're suggesting these things to you. And of course, when it comes to the raincoats or the gloves, you can get things like butanol gloves or actual hazmat suits, things that are specifically designed to protect you from these types of threats, but they're trying to give people budget-friendly, reasonable options that they might already own so they don't have to think too far outside the box, especially if they're visiting Ukraine for one or another reason, whatever those reasons would be. I don't know why anyone would be going there. So, hold up, we've got to thank the biggest supporter of the channel, which is Midway USA. Midway USA is making a lot of things possible for this channel to grow and expand into the future, and I really appreciate them getting behind a prepper channel of all channels. So, big thank you to Midway USA, and let's get back to this whole Ukraine nuclear explosion conversation. What else do they say? Well, here's what I think a lot of people sleep on, and this is something that isn't discussed very often in the sense of preparedness, but I find it to be relatively important, and that's eye protection. They think you should have some sort of safety glasses to protect your eyes. And whether or not that's just from nuclear fallout or radiation, in general, if there is a nuclear explosion, the blast radius is big, and the amount of debris that can kick up can be devastating and very bad for your eyes, especially if you get any kind of debris in your eyes, and that debris happens to be radioactive. So, honestly, eye protection is a good thing to have just in general for preparedness. And a lot of people don't discuss it. We wear it while we're doing things like going out to the shooting range, but we don't think about why we would need it if we were out and about. Even though we prepare by having bug out bags and firearms and all kinds of stuff, we never really think about the eye protection aspect as being a priority, even though it probably should be. And I am affiliated with Gators. They make awesome eye protection here in the USA. Their ballistic rated mil-spec lenses are ready to go when it comes to this kind of stuff, but they are very expensive. So I have a discount code for that as well down in the description as well as in the pinned comment. But if you want something less expensive, of course, your basic safety glasses from Walmart by Stanley are probably going to do just fine, but at least have some way to protect your eyes, and that's exactly what they're trying to suggest to people going to Ukraine right now, okay? Another thing they suggest, and this is something that you can help me out with. So help me down in the comments below if you understand the answer to this puzzle that I wasn't able to necessarily figure out as easily as I thought I should have been able to. They suggest everyone to bring some nail polish remover or some pure acetone. And I thought, okay, well, what's the reasons behind that? For decontamination or whatever it might be, right? And their suggestion is that you would dabble it onto a paper towel in case you were to get your hands or face dirty with radioactively contaminated particles, and then wipe your face and hands off with this acetone on a paper towel. I'm not sure what that does in the sense of decontamination. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. From my understanding, I mean, you can do a lot of decon with just soap and water, right? So I don't know what the acetone's main purpose is for. Maybe it's because it's portable and you don't need a lot of it. I'm not really sure, and I haven't been able to find very much great information about that specifically. So please let me know in the comments, because I don't know everything, and it's okay for you to know more than I do sometimes, right? Now, the other thing they suggest is a map and a compass, which really straightforward, really basic, but also something a lot of people lack and forget about when it comes to preparedness. So a map and a compass of Ukraine to make sure that if you get displaced, which is very easy to happen during a nuclear explosion, which, reminder, that's what we're talking about here. These things are to be prepared for if there is a nuclear explosion. You might get displaced and find out you're somewhere you don't know where you are, and you have to find your way back or whatever it is. So map and a compass, good thing to have pretty much no matter where you are or what you do, right? A dosimeter, okay? Geiger counter, dosimeter, however you want to, find that type of device, basically a way to detect radiation. They suggest having one of those with you as well. And I'll link this website down in the description as well as in the pinned comment so you guys can check it out. They were very weird about, let's just say, like, making sure you don't use their material without their permission, right? So I'm not going to show any screenshots or anything like that, but I'll link to the website so you can go there directly and check it out if you want for yourself. But these are the things they're suggesting, and of course a dosimeter or a Geiger counter is a good thing to have, but they're hard to get a hold of right now. They're more expensive than they used to be, and of course places like Eastern Europe are buying them up like they're going out of style. So just keep that in mind. If it's something you want, it's probably better to have now than to regret not having later, okay? They're also suggesting potassium iodide for all the obvious reasons. If there's a nuclear explosion, take your potassium iodide, you overload your thyroid with iodide, and then you don't have to worry about absorbing some of those radioactive particles. So just keep that in mind, and that's very layman's. I know I simplified that very down to basics here, but that's what we're trying to do. Keep things simple so that they're easy to understand and we don't have to get too far into details because you already know what I'm talking about, right? And they also suggest having a radio receiver. They want you to be able to get information, and according to the website in this report, they basically are saying, look, that might be the only way to get communications if a nuclear blast happens. We don't know if cell phones are going to work. We don't know if satellite phones are going to work. We don't know if there will be internet or not. So have a radio because it's one of the most basic forms of comms you can have. And then worst comes to worst, if that doesn't work, well, you tried, and that's all we could really do for you, right? So that's the list of things that they say you should have if you're going to go to Ukraine right now and you're worried about a nuclear explosion. And in my opinion, if I'm going to be anywhere I'm concerned about having a nuclear explosion occur, I might as well have these things too, because if anyone should be concerned about this right now, anyone in the entire world should be concerned about a nuclear explosion happening right this second, it's people in Ukraine, right? And especially because they're not only worried about the threats of nuclear weapons, but at any point in time, one of their nuclear power plants could easily have a meltdown. So they have a lot of stuff going on there when it comes to nuclear things, especially things like, I don't know, Chernobyl, right? So this was just information I thought I'd share with you as kind of a reminder, and just to keep in mind that these things can be simple. They don't have to be overly complex, and you can get away with having something like FFP2 or FFP3 respirators, N99s or N100s, instead of having to go all out with gas masks and NBC rated filters. But you're always going to give yourself a little bit more of an advantage and a better chance of survival if you go above and beyond with some of this equipment, because at the end of the day, this is very important stuff if you're ever exposed to this type of environment. So let me know if you have any questions below. Give me all of your answers about the whole acetone / nail polish remover thing, because I'm curious about that. And besides that, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.